Hi everyone, this is Josh Rotenberger. We're in a soybean field 1 mile south of Arthur. We're looking at a crop here that has been under a lot of drought stress here the last week or so. And some of the common calls that we've been getting right now is about soybean aphids and 2 spotted spider mites. So we're going to talk a little bit about just scouting for them, some control methods we can do, and also a little bit on growth stages. So the soybeans that we got here are an 03 maturity that are starting to set a good sized bean in the pod. So we are at R6 right now. And control methods for both species, we should probably scout up to about R6.5, which is going to be basically a slight yellowing in one of the pods in the upper 4 nodes, and or yellowing of some of the leaves. So let's talk a little bit about the 2 pests we're just mentioned here. Soybean aphids. We've been dealing with them for upwards of 10 to 15 years. Give or take every year we see them to different levels. For scouting methods, when we're typically going to look for them, we're going to look along shelter belts such as this, where they're getting dropped in here by some of the southern winds. Also, anywhere where we're kind of getting a little bit of a break, we kind of see hot spots in the field that develop. And at that point, we're kind of looking at numbers. So our economic threshold on soybean aphid is 250 per plant on the majority of the field. And at that point, it's at an economic level where we can actually do something about them and also help us to avoid things like resistance issues, which we have seen in the past. The other pest here that we're going to talk about, and we've gotten more phone calls with lately, are spider mites. Spider mites are a very, very small insect. You actually need a hand lens to be able to see them efficiently. They're a pest that starts to move in from field borders. So as the grasses and the ditches and stuff like that start to burn up or get mowed off, and the heat kind of picks up like we've seen the last week or so, 90 plus, they start moving into the fields. Where we start to first visually see them is on the undersides of the leaves. You take a hand lens, you kind of look for that. They're a small spider looking insect with 2 black spots on the back. As we get moving a little bit further and scouting them a little bit more, we kind of look to see how they're moving in the canopy. So first, we're going to see them on the lower sides of the canopy. They're going to be a little yellow leaves. And if we look on the back side of them, we're going to start to see a little bit of a stippling effect. And as we start to look for them and look for a time to actually spray it, it's as it's going to progress up through the canopy. As we get the stippling in the middle of the canopy and up into the top, it's time to make an economic application for them. And also, as we talk about the 2 insects, we want to look at what we use. So in the past, we've ran into problems on different insecticides and how we've been able to control them. We've ran into some resistance issues. Probably our lead recommendation for both insects right now would be a Lorsban type of chemistry. We've seen that to be most effective. The other things you can do on that is increase your water volume, add some non-ionic surfactant, and really get the best coverage you can. I hope that helped, and if you have any questions, contact your Arthur Company's agronomist.